So there is something in your life that you want to do consistently because of the results that you're looking for, the way that you think it's going to add value to your life. Could be maybe planning every single day. You want to plan today for tomorrow. Maybe you want to start a walking routine. Maybe you want to start journaling. Maybe you want to start creating videos every single day, whatever it may be. And you start out with this great enthusiasm, but what happens? Well, without a plan, without some specific ideas on how to do this effectively, you start out 3 days, 4 days, maybe the motivation starts waning. You miss a day on day 5, and then you pick up day 6, you miss 7, and then you start missing several days in a row, and then you miss a week, and then it just all goes south. You do nothing, and you just give it up completely. What happened? Well, again, you need a clear set of actions to help you to do this, some strategies. So that's what we're going to talk about today, are 7 ideas on how to be consistent. And these ideas are practical, they're actionable, and you can use them right away. So that's the beauty of these ideas. So let's get into idea number 1, which is you want to create a repeatable process. Write down 3 to 5 steps in the process of doing whatever you're doing. For example, if you're trying to start a walking routine, you would get a Post-it note or a piece of paper and write down, grab shoes, check the weather, choose a path to walk, set a timer, and walk. Now, you may look at this and think, that's ridiculous. Why do that? It's 5 steps, maybe 3 steps, maybe 5 steps. And I've got it all up here. And see, that is part of the problem when you try to just manage it all up here. Your brain responds exceptionally well to a clear set of steps and actions that it needs to perform in the order that it needs to perform. That way, when you go to do the thing, it's not trying to figure it out in advance. It's not trying to figure out how to do it, the next step. No, you have it written down, even if it's 3 to 5 steps. And that is going to give your brain clarity to take action. That's a very powerful way to do something consistently. So write it down, keep it on a Post-it note, put it on your computer, put it on the wall, save it on your desk so you can look at it and see what those steps are. Let's go to idea number 2, set a minimum action. So the minimum that you can do to feel successful doing that thing. For example, if you're walking, the minimum that you could do maybe to feel successful at having a successful walking routine is just 2 minutes. Or if you're trying to journal, maybe it's just writing 1 sentence. Because oftentimes we go into these things that we're trying to do consistently and we think, I'm going to do it at the max. And if I can't do it at the max, if I can't walk for an hour or if I can't journal for an hour, then I'm just not going to even do it. I don't have time today. So you give up. You're not doing it consistently. That's not important. It's not the intensity at which you do these things oftentimes. It's just showing up consistently. So if you give yourself the means to do a minimum, for example, if you're not able to walk for 30 minutes today, but you can do 2 minutes, then you can feel successful about that day. You are maintaining the consistency, your momentum, just by doing it a little bit. That is more important than doing it and missing days because you can't hit the intensity. Let's go to idea number 3. Define when you'll do it. So pick a specific time, such as 8 a.m., or tie the doing of that thing to an event, such as when X happens, do Y. So if you think about your typical schedule and how you manage life, so much of life is built around the idea of showing up at a specific time. 8 a.m., maybe that's when you have to be at work. Lunch starts at noon. Or a meeting has to happen at 3 p.m. Your brain responds well to specific times when it needs to take action. So those are like mental alarms. And so when you are thinking about this thing you want to do consistently, when would be the best time that you can choose throughout your day in order to do that thing? Specifically, 8 a.m., is that it? Write it down. Is it when you open your computer? Is it when you walk in the front door? Then get clear about when you're going to do it. And that's going to trigger something in your brain to want to do it consistently because it knows it needs to in advance. Very useful tool for being consistent. Number 4, create a time boundary, the maximum time that you're going to do it. Is it 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes? So think about the thing that you're trying to do consistently and don't go into doing it, creating a video, think, oh, okay, I'm just going to create a video. Your brain doesn't understand the amount of time and resources that it's going to require to do that thing. If all you're saying, well, I'm going to just create a video, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to write in my journal, I'm going to plan my day. If it doesn't understand the time and energy, resource commitment, then it's going to resist taking action, because it could take as much time or as much energy as who knows what. But when you encapsulate that into a boundary and you say, I'm only going to devote 30 minutes to doing this thing, or 60 minutes, then it understands what's required. And it's going to be more motivated and resist less of taking action. Try it out. You'll see what I mean. Point number 5 is make it convenient. So keep tools, equipment, or documents that you need to do this thing easily accessible. So if you're planning your day, if that's the thing you're wanting to do consistently, make sure that the planner, the pen, all the tools that you need in order to plan your day are easily accessible, so that you can get it done without having to find something, set it up. Same thing with a walking routine or creating videos. If you have to, for example, when you're trying to create videos, if you're having to find a tripod, you have to dig your camera out. If you're trying to find cords every time before you do this thing, you're probably not going to be successful at doing it. Make it easy to start, easy to access those things, so you can start it in 10 to 20 seconds. That is the goal. That will break down the hurdles and the barriers to taking action, because each one of those things you have to set up and do before you take action is a hurdle. And when you run into too many hurdles, you're eventually going to give up and not do that thing consistently. So make it easy to do. All right, let's move on to point number 6, which is don't break the chain. So track your successful days with a calendar or a sheet of grid paper. And I've talked about this, one of my favorite ideas. The idea is to take this thing, and every day that you do it successfully, even to the max or to the minimum that we talked about in point number 2, the minimum action, every day that you do that on the calendar or the grid paper, you want to put an X. And then you want to have a string of successive X's for successive days that you do it successfully. And so what you're doing each time you do that is you're building a chain of successes. If I can hold this straight. All right, so you're building a chain of successes. And the goal is to not miss a day of putting an X on the calendar, because that is when you break the chain and you have to start all over. So when you see that you have done it successfully for 5 days, it's going to be easier to do it 6 when you're visibly looking at that. Or when you see that you have done it successfully for 14 days, then 15 day is going to be even easier, because you don't want to start over. You don't want to break that chain. So give this idea a try. Don't break the chain. And finally, the last idea is you want to do it in the morning. Take action early in the morning. Now, that means if you can figure out a time between 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., whenever you wake up, and noon in order to do this thing you're trying to do consistently, that is going to be the best time to do it. And the reason is because oftentimes for most people, when you wake up in the morning, your head is clear, your body's refreshed because you just woke up from sleep, and you're ready to go. You're built to kind of do that when you wake up in the morning. So that's when you're at your highest peak of energy and focus. That is when you want to approach doing that thing consistently. If you wait until later in the day, you're like, well, I'll try to do it 9 o'clock at night. Probably a good chance that you're not going to be very successful at doing it. For some people, you can, but for majority of people, not so much. So give that a try as well. So we have 7 ideas, actionable ideas on how to be consistent. I hope that you found this useful. And if you'd like a copy of this, you can download it. You can find a link to it in the description below. And if you like it, I hope that you like, comment, and share. I appreciate that very much. And I hope that you have an amazing day.